Good morning, Vande Matram. Welcome all of you to this SAVITRI summarization session. So, as we know, in the course of our discussion, we have come to this portion of for today. It is actually book 2, Canto 9. We are going to discuss. It is a short canto, of course. So we are going to glimpse at the very rarities and of course its magnanimity of this chapter, the paradise of the life course. Beautiful topic naturally. So we are going to discuss in a brief. Already we know this is the session of summarization of Savitri summarization. Today we are going to take on the chapter that is book 2, Canto 9, the paradise of the life gods. Couple of lines we will try to read from Sri Aurobindo. Around him shone a great felicitous day. Just that brightly Sri Aurobindo has quoted in his very first line. Around him shone a great felicitous day, a lustre of some rapturous infinity. A lustre of some rapturous infinity, it held in the splendor of its golden love regions of the heart's happiness set free. Region of the heart's happiness set free, intoxicated with the wine of God, intoxicated with the wine of God, immersed in light, perpetually divine. So this is a great discussion we have seen, and we are of course taking in the very first front, of course in the index we can find that glorious description as it. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes, a favorite and intimate of the gods. Just imagine a favorite and intimate of the gods obeying the divine command to joy. Obeying the divine command to joy. It was the sovereign of its own delight, sovereign of its own delight, and the master of the kingdom of the force. So this glorious region and the glorious with this glorious discussion, we are going into the gist, the summarization. We are seeing in the very brief manner. Of course, we are going. Still in the course, while discussing, of course, while glorifying the chapter, the paradise of the life gods, Sri Aurobindo goes, around Ashwapati shines a bright felicity. Around Ashwapati shines a bright felicity. There is a perpetual joy untouched. Perpetual joy we can see that is untouched by the grief or fear, free and wide. So this is the perpetual joy untouched by grief or fear, and it is free and wide. This is the perpetual joy, bright felicity around Ashwapati. He traverses the scenes of the beauty and bliss, calm and luminous, and hears notes of celestial music chanting the glory of love. This is really a glorious description, and it's a glorious moment. He traverses scenes of the beauty and bliss, calm and luminosity, hears notes of celestial music, notes of the celestial music chanting to the glory of love. Great discussion really. As described Sri Aurobindo, we can quote Sri Aurobindo directly. Obeying a favorite and intimate of the gods, obeying the divine command to joy. It was the sovereign of its own delight and the master of the kingdom of the force. Then assured of the bliss, just find assured of the bliss for which all forms were made, unmoved by fear and grief and the shocks of fate, unmoved by the fear and the grief and the shocks of fate, and unalarmed by the breath of fleeting time, not alarmed at all, and unbesieged by adverse circumstance, it breathed in a sweet, secure, unguarded age, free from our body's frailty, inviting death. Body, it's a frailty, inviting death. Actually, this is free. Far from our danger zone of stumbling will that is stumbling, but it is far from our danger zone of stumbling will. It needed not to curb the passionate beats, thrilled by the clasp of the warm, satisfied sense, thrilled by the clasp of the warm, satisfied sense, and the swift wanderers and the flame and the cry. of the life impulses red magnificent race. So just imagine how really it is. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully, a silence of felicity wrapped the heavens. A silence of felicity wrapped the heavens, a careless radiance smiled upon the heights. A silence of felicity wrapped the heavens, a careless radiance smiled upon the heights. A murmur of inarticulate ravishment trembled in the winds and touched the enchanted soil. So just imagine how it is really. So we'll try to move forward a little bit with this summarization format. Little bit we'll move on, because this is a glorious, really glorious description. The glowing heights of this realm, the glowing heights of this realm climb towards a greatness beyond life, towards a greatness beyond life that has been that is actually climbed upon. In these shining agents of the vital gods, in these shining agents of the vital gods, harmony, beauty, and perfection are the rule. Three things you must find there. One is actually harmony, second is actually beauty, and third is of course perfection you can find. Peace and love and strength, another three. Peace and love and strength reach the acme. Pain is transmuted by the divine alchemic touch of the present joy. Present joy, it has alchemy. With the alchemy, it turns, pain is transmuted, and with the divine alchemy to into the potent joy. The gulf between heaven and hell, the gulf that stands healed, very much limited, it is cured, you can't find much more. This is the scenario we can find here. So again you can go, we are going to the next phase of discussion. Beautifully Sri Aurobindo has quoted, Eden of the vital gods, harmony, beauty, and perfection are the rule. Peace, love, and strength reach their acme. It is the top position. So no gulf, very limited between heaven and hell. So this pain is transmuted to the potent joy through alchemy. We can find that brilliant description by the master. All the high visioning of the life is embodied here. High visioning of the life is embodied there. Her hopes, her thoughts, her willings, everything you can go. Another three we can find of the life that is embodied here. Her hopes, thoughts, and willings. The course of life is smooth and certain. There is no ambiguity, nothing is there. The course of life is smooth and certain. Divinizing music and profound creative thoughts sail towards immortality, Osopati. That is there. Divinizing music and profound creative thoughts, another two. So they are actually moving towards, it is, he can glimpse. The sense acquire a new range. It is actually new range, expanded, it is vast. You can find a new range of the sense acquiring. His very body glows with light and power. His very body glows with light and power and shrinks no more from the demand of this spirit to lose itself in the identity with it, because we can find the very body, what you feel, that glows with the light and power. With this lightnings and with this power, light and power, you can find the glow, and shrinks no more into the demand of the spirit to lose itself identity with it. Earth stands reborn and companion of the heaven. Just to give gloriously, Sri Aurobindo has quotes here. Earth stands reborn and companion of the heaven. Again, we'll try to read the next form in the Sri Aurobindo's original writing we can find here. Sri Aurobindo quotes here beautifully. A sob of rapture flowed among the hours. A sob of rapture flowed among the hours, advancing under an arc of glory and peace. Advancing under an arc of glory and peace, traveller on patio and music reads, as one who sees in the world magician's glass a miracled imagery of soulscapes flee, he traversed scenes of an immortal joy. This pain, the thing, it has been getting transmuted into the potent joy, immortal joy. He traversed the scenes of an immortal joy and gazed into the abysms of beauty and, of course, bliss. Nothing, only immortal joy, beauty, and bliss, nothing more, nothing negative is seen there. Around him was a light of consciousness. Around him, already initially in the very beginning of this chapter, we have seen around him shone a great felicitous day. Again, Sri Aurobindo, of course, starts, around him was a light of consciousness and a brooding gladness of great symbol things. Then again, we can find mountains and violet valleys of the blessed, deep glens of joy and crooning waterfalls, and wood of quivering purple solitude. It is there. To meet him, crowded the plains and of brilliant calm. To meet him, he can find and he can meet on the way. That is actually around him. After him, below him lay like gleaming jeweled thoughts, wrapped dreaming cities of Gandharva kings. So around him, like these mountains, violet valleys of blessed, and below him lay like gleaming jeweled thoughts, wrapped dreaming cities of Gandharva kings. We can find there. So, across the vibrant secrecies of space, a dim and happy music sweetly stole. Dim and happy music sweetly stole. Smitten by unseen hands, he heard heart close. The harps cry of the heavenly minstrels pass, and the voices of unearthly melody. So melodious, chanting, voices, singing, everything is clearly visible while he is adventuring ahead. And this realm is really, it is an interesting realm. Against here in the quotes, a summit and core of all that marvelous world. You can find the summit and core of all that marvelous world. Apart stood high Elysian nameless hills, burning like sunsets in a trance of Eve. It is there. As if some new unsurged profundity into a joyful stillness plunged their base. So thing is that everything is turning into joy and happiness, we can find here. Again, after latter year in the course, all things were perfect there, that flower in time. All things were perfect there, that flower in time. Beauty was there, creation's native mood. Just imagine how those heart-touching sentences are there. Of course, heart-touching and heart-transforming sentences. Beauty was there, creation's native mood. Peace was a thrilled, voluptuous purity. Their love fulfilled her gold and roseate dream, and strength her crowned and mighty reverie. Just imagine how gorgeously Sri Aurobindo has quoted and defined the terms, how it is. Desire climbed up a swift and omnipotent flame, and pleasure had the stature of the gods. Pleasure had the stature of the gods. Desire climbed up a swift, omnipotent flame. Dream walked along the highways of the stars. Dream walked along the highways of the stars. Sweet common things turned into miracles. Overtaken by the spirit's sudden spell, smitten by a divine passion's alchemy, pain's self-compelled transformed into potent joy. This pain converting and of course transforming to potent joy by two separate factors. One is actually overtaken by the spirit's sudden spell. Number one, smitten by a divine pleasure, passion's alchemy. So with this alchemy and with the spirit's sudden spell, pain is compelled transformed to potent joy. And what is happening? Curing the antithesis twixt heaven and hell. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully that night quotation. All life's high visions are embodied there. All life's high visions are embodied there. Her wandering hopes achieved, her aureate comes caught by the honey eater's darting tongue. Her burning guesses changed to ecstatized truth. Her mighty paintings stilled in deathless calm and liberated her immense desires. Just like see how gloriously her burning gases changed to ecstatized truths, changing. Her mighty paintings stilled in deathless calm and liberated her immense desire. Then, next year in the quotes here, in that paradise of perfect heart and sense, no lower note could break the endless charm. No lowerness is not. There is no chance for it to come. And her sweetness ardent and immaculate. Her steps are sure of their intuitive fall. Her steps are sure of their intuitive fall. After the anguish of the soul's long strife, after the anguish of the soul's long strife, at length we are found calm and celestial rest. Calm and celestial rest, and lived in a magic flood of sorrowless hour. Celestial calm and celestial earth, flood of sorrowless happy hours, healed were his warrior nature's wounded limbs in the encircling arm of ecstasy energy. Just imagine everything is coming to a positive alchemy, transformation, and change. So many ways you can find ecstasy, joy, delight, everything. Against Aurobindo quotes, he met the forms that divinize the sight. He made the forms that divinize the sight to music that can immortalize the mind. Every time we keep whistling the sound of music, melody, everything. See, but the thing is that old is gold. We claim also. We are going for the new and the recent. Everything is good, but thing is that the characteristic of melody that is met by the steer in the Osopatis here to music that can immortalize the mind and make the heart wise at infinity. So every day we keep listening music, melody and all. Just imagine where is actually the expansion is not there. The awakening is not there. The upliftment is not there. The elevation is not there. But here you can listen the characteristic of true music to music that can immortalize the mind and make the heart wide as infinity, lured and captured the inaudible, lured and captured the inaudible, invisible. So inaudible. That must be the characteristic of music. Cadences that awake the occult ear. Cadences that awake the occult ear. Out of the ineffable hearts it hears them come, trembling with the beauty of a wordless speech. Trembling. It is coming from the ineffable hush. It hears. It is coming from top, and the thoughts too great and deep to find a voice. Thoughts you can't imagine because all is celestial, all is heavenly, everything is changing and touching the heart and trying to transmute. Again, his body glimmered like a sky cell. Just imagine how the change is coming, inner and outer view. His body glimmered like a sky cell, number one. So, body glimmered like a sky cell. His gates of to the world we are slept with seas of light. Gates to the world we are swept with sleeves of light. His earth, dowed with celestial competence, harbored a power and that needed now no more to cross the closed custom lines of mind and flesh and smuggle Godhead into humanity. Everything is there, it is activated, it is embodied. Until you don't have to do anything here because already it is done. This alchemy is working and it is there. So let us Sri Aurobindo quotes a little bit in his own lines. Earth nature stood reborn, comrade of heaven. Just imagine. Earth nature stood reborn, comrade of heaven, a fit companion of the timeless kings. A fit companion of the timeless kings, equaled with the Godhead of the living sons. Earth nature stood reborn, comrade of the heaven. Against here in the course few lines later, he mixed in the radiant pastimes of the unborn. He mixed with the radiant pastimes of the unborn, heard the whispers of the player never seen, and listened to his voice that stills the heart, and draws it to the breast of God's desire, and felt its honey of felicity flow through his veins like the rivers in paradise. So he could feel the honey of felicity flow through his veins, honey of paradise flowing through his veins like rivers in paradise, not the rivers on earth. made body a nectar cup of the absolute. With this flow, the body is changed and transformed to the almost, it is the nectar cup of the absolute. Here, later we can find the clasp was remembered of the wonderful, and the hints slipped down of white beatitudes. Eternity drew close, disguised as a love. Eternity drew close, in disguised as a love, and laid its hand upon the body of time. So the clasp was remembered of the wonderful, the divine. That clasp actually it is remembered, and the hints slipped down of white beatitudes. Eternity drew close, disguised as a love. A kind of glorious description we can find. Eternity drew close, disguised as love, and laid its hand upon the body of time. So a touch supreme surprised the earth. Here in the quotes in his one line. The touch supreme surprised his hurrying heart, and the clasp that remembered of the all wonderful. Again, Sri Aurobindo is quoting: a little gift comes from the immensitudes. A little gift comes from the immensitudes, but the measureless to life its gain of joy. All the untold beyond is mirrored there. All the untold beyond is mirrored there. A giant drop of the bliss unknowable overwhelmed his limbs, and around his soul became a fiery ocean of felicity. A giant of drop of bliss, just come that flow of the bliss. A giant drop bliss unknowable overwhelmed his limbs, and around his soul became a fiery ocean of felicity. Again, he foundered drowned in sweet and burning vast. He foundered drowned in the sweet and burning waste. So we'll little bit we'll find here in this original description that glorious region, that glorious feeling, that glorious definition. Everything has been glorified by our master, by Asapati. Sri Aurobindo has quoted in nice terms. Asapati rises to the stature of the gods here. Asapati rises to the stature of the gods, and a divine felicity pour into him, transporting him into the unknown ecstasy. So this is a great change in, of course, in Asapati. Asapati rises to the stature of the gods. We can see, we can remember, and divine felicities pour into him, transporting him into unknown ecstasy, transporting him into the unknown ecstasy with the divine felicity. A touch of the Supreme again comes over his eager heart. A touch of the Supreme comes over his eager heart. Eternity draws near. Just imagine how it is coming, and eternity draws near in the form of love, and comes the body of time. Just imagine how the great description just now we quoted the original lines. I'll try to quote it again. Asapati rises to the stature of gods, and the divine felicity pour to him, transporting him into the unknown ecstasy. Again, a touch of the Supreme comes over his eager heart. Touch of Supreme comes over his eager heart. Eternity draws near in the form of love, and claims the heart of body of time. And towards the end, there is another beautiful description. A giant drop of bliss, eternity, love, our touch of Supreme, again, stature of the gods. After all this description, we come to the latter part, almost in the concluding part in the here for this canto, and for, of course, for this discussion. A giant drop of bliss overwhelms in, and all around spreads a fiery ocean of felicity. Bliss and felicity, we can find fairy ocean of felicity. He is drowned in the honeyed way. He is able to bear the sheer delight without his body breaking down. He is able to bear the sheer delight, initially bliss, Second, we have seen felicity. Then we can find sure delight. So that is also without his body breaking down. Then again, we are finding the rapture purifies him and turns his mortal strength into the undying power. Just imagine how it has been gloriously defined. A giant drop of bliss. Initially, it was bliss. Previously, we have discussed into joy, potent joy, immortal joy. Here we have seen the giant drop of bliss overwhelms him, and all around spreads a ocean, a fairy ocean of felicity. He is drowned in the honeyed waves. Number three, able to bear the sheer delight without his body breaking down. So it is a prepared body, it is not breaking down. This rapture, again, bliss, felicity, delight, and then we can find later rapture, purifies him and turns his mortal strength to the undying power. So we can find immortality capture time and claims life. That is a great description, really great description. You can't imagine, you can just feel, unless otherwise that you are that much open. So Sri Aurobindo quotes in his own language, in his own words, in his own vision, in his everything. She describes in a beautiful way. The dire delight we can see, just to how we have decided and we have seen on you can measureless to mind in a grain of joy. Initially, we have seen joy. Second, we have gone untold beyond is mirrored there. Giant drop of bliss unknowable. After joy, we have seen bliss. Overwhelmed his limbs and around his soul because a fairy ocean of felicity. We can feel felicity here, joy here, bliss here, delight also we have find. He found it drowned in sweet and burning vast, drowned in sweet and burning vast. The dire delight. Again, we can find the word delight. So that is actually we see beautifully the description of joy to delight, a dire delight that could shelter in mortal flesh. Then again we can find the rapture. So the rapture that the God sustain he bore. Initially we have seen gains of joy. Second, we have seen drop of bliss. Third, we have seen, of course, it is in a great word we have seen that is ocean of felicity. And later we have seen dire delight. Here we are seeing the rapture that the God sustain he bear. Then comes towards the final end, immortal pleasure cleansed him in its waves. Immortal pleasure cleansed him in its waves, and turned his strength into the undying power. Again, pleasure and pain. Pleasure cleansed, strength turned to the undying power, immortality captured time and carried life. See, just imagine how the great things have been described here. After the big night, dense night, there came a felicitous morning and a lustrous day. That's what we have seen after seeing the descent into night, and the find you have feel the sons of darkness, mother of the evil. So beautifully that negation also described by the Lord. So after everything, after proceeding everything, after little bit we are moving little bit ahead, descend into night, worlds of falsehood, mother of evil, sons of darkness. Later we came into the paradise of the little life gods. How gloriously it has been described. So anyway, this is a great chapter, no doubt of it. So we have seen in our description from step to step, we have come forward. Likely, Sri Aurobindo has characteristically and very interestingly. So this is a real there is a perpetual joy untouched by grief and fear, free and wild. So this is the luminous kingdom. He traverses through beauty and bliss, calm and luminosity. Hears the note of celestial music chanting the glory of love. Just imagine how it is. Then next phase, this is in this shining cadence of the vital gods. Shining cadence of the vital gods, he finds harmony, beauty, perfection, as is the rule. Again, three things you can find: peace, love, and the strength. It is described there beautifully. So hopes, thoughts, and willings are actually embodied in life, we can find. So there is a smoothness and will, again, divinizing music and the profound creative thoughts. It is there described beautifully. So anyway, with all these visions, with all this adventure, Sri Aurobindo changes his statue. Actually, he rises to the stature of the gods. Divine felicity pours upon him, transporting, of course, transporting him into unknown ecstasies. We have seen touch of some supreme coming to his eager heart. Eternity draws near in the form of love and claims the body of the time. Again, we can find the description of joy, bliss, felicity, delight, rapture. Everything is so interestingly, so beautifully has been designed and of course explained. And in the last line, we find immortality, captured time, and carried life. So we will try to stop here and take a break before going to the next session. Thank you. Vande Matram.